I started playing Smite 8 years ago.
Oh, bitch.
The first god to release when I started playing Smite was Amaterasu, so you could probably call me a Smite elder. With Smite 2 coming soon, I wanted to take a dive into Smite's history. So Smite's a game with a long history of changes, and as a Smite elder, I experienced a lot of those changes. One of the changes that I wanted to go over in this video are the different items that Smite has gone through in its history. So in this video, I'm going to go over 5 of the best Smite items that have been removed from the game that I miss. Real quick, if you're a Smite fan, please consider giving me a like and a subscribe and maybe a little comment. Help a girl out. Alright, let's get started. Number 5 on my list is going to be Stone Cutting Sword. Stone Cutting Sword was an item that reduced the enemy's physical protections and increased your own physical protections when you basic attack an enemy. And I was a huge fan of building this on auto attack based assassins and warriors, especially Nemesis. That was the only way I could play Nemesis. I don't think I've touched her since it's been removed. Personally, I'm terrible when it comes to assassins. I like the tankiness that that item gave, especially when it comes to auto attack focused assassins, because if I'm not playing a burst assassin that's just going to come in and destroy you, I'm going to need some sort of sustain. And Stone Cutting Sword gave me the sustain that I needed to make me feel confident enough to gank lanes. And I'm a terrible jungler. I think it's the most fun role, but I'm awful. So it was a really helpful item, and I definitely haven't been the same kind of jungler since. The item was removed in January of 2023 in the 10.1 version update when Smite's team decided to get rid of hybrid items, which is a decision I hate so much. Like I said, extra sustain benefits me because I die easily. Number 4 is going to be another tankier item. It's going to be Bulwark of Hope. Now, that seems kind of silly for me nowadays because I don't remember the last time I even thought about Bulwark of Hope, but when I first started playing Smite, it was like such an important item for me. This item helped me out a lot when I first started playing because I wasn't very good at the game, and it got me out of a lot of sticky situations. This item gave players a shield when you drop below a certain health threshold, which was extremely helpful when I started playing Smite because I would drop below a certain health threshold a lot. Overall, I can understand why it was removed from the game because I don't remember it being in meta for most of the time that I play the game, and I imagine it would be hard to balance an item like that in general. It could be either like a really important item or an extremely niche item depending on the stats. I get it. There are items like Bloodforge, which rewards you for being aggressive and getting the kill on the enemy god, or one of the newer items like Crimson Claws, which gives you a health shield when you get lifesteal while you're already at the max health. Overall, I think it was a really helpful item when I first started playing the game, but I get why it's gone. But I miss it because, you know, I'm an elder. I like nostalgia. Number 3 is going to be a fun one, if you know kind of thing, and that's going to be Hasten Fatalis. So, Hasten Fatalis is a notorious item. If you don't know, when you attack a god in Smite with a basic attack, you suffer a movement speed penalty. Hasten Fatalis removed that movement speed penalty, which gave you something called Haste. Hasten Fatalis removed the movement speed penalty from gods when you landed a successful basic attack. The passive is something you can still see on some items in Smite like Hastened Ring or Hastened Katana, although its effect is slightly different. On Hastened Ring, which is only available to magic users, you gain the haste effect for only 6 seconds, and on Hastened Katana, which is only available on melee physical gods, sorry hunters, you gain the haste effect for only 15 seconds. With Hasten Fatalis, you would gain haste for 15 seconds, and the effect would refresh every successful basic attack. This would allow you to chase down your enemies very quickly. Hasten Fatalis was initially considered a pretty meh item up until Season 4. In early Season 4, Hi-Rez decided to buff Hasten Fatalis by giving it penetration. And After a series of nerfs and buffs over the first half of Season 4, Hi-Rez decided to remove the item in the mid-season patch of Season 4. They said, and I quote, "Season 4 has been a wild ride when it comes to Hasten Fatalis. Fatalis was buffed to help the gods that needed the item, like basic attack assassins and mage ADCs. However, hunters took the item and dominated it with it, forcing multiple nerfs. Rather than reducing it back to its previous status, and therefore having the same problems, we're splitting Hasten Fatalis effects, now called Haste, onto a melee-only katana, Hasten Katana, which I mentioned earlier, and magical power ring, Hasten Ring. Hunters who wish to go fast will have a new option, Atalanta's Bow, but will no longer have the haste effect." So basically it was, wow, hunters, you guys are going crazy, let me chill. But I guess some of the magical ADCs are fine. It was a fun item with a fun history, but I think it's best that we don't have this item anymore. Number 2 is another fun item that got removed because of hunters, and that is Golden Bow. Golden Bow was removed in the mid-season update of Season 3 in Smite, and its passive was, all basic attacks will also hit enemies within a 15-unit radius of the target for 50% of the damage to the gods, and 75% damage to minions and jungle camps. And yeah, that probably sounds familiar to you because we do have that passive now in Golden Shard and Golden Blade. Like Hasten Fatalis, Golden Bow was also removed from the game due to making things too easy for the ADC. In the patch notes, Hi-Rez basically said that the item was too strong and negated the need for a hunter to have a duo with them because of how good the clear was. Nowadays, for that early pressure start into a lane, you can get Golden Shard, which only gives 15% of the damage to enemy gods, jungle camps, minions, etc. And it doesn't come with base stats like Golden Bow did. So it's a lot more balanced because it does a lot less damage to the surrounding enemy. And number one might surprise people, but this is the item that I miss the most, and it is Hide of the Urchin. Hide of the Urchin's passive was you gain magical and physical protections for each killer assist that you got. Then it evolves. The more stacks you had, the higher your magical and physical protections would be. And essentially it made you, at full stacks, you were super healthy. You had so many damage mitigations and so much health. And it was one of my favorite items to build in the game. It was removed at the start of Season 10, like a lot of other items in this video. It was frequently considered one of the best items in the game due to its tankiness. But it wasn't removed because it was OP or anything. During the 10.1 patch notes show, they mentioned the fact that it was one of the best items in the game, but people just didn't really build it, which I have experienced in my games when it was in the game. It really didn't get built a lot, and that might have been due to how difficult it could be to build max stats to get the most benefit out of that item. But once you did get max stats, it was fantastic. It does have a bit of a spiritual successor in the game now, which is probably a better item than Hide of the Urchin was, and that is Prophetic Cloak. It has a very similar passive. It's when you damage an enemy god, you gain 1 stack of protections in an aura that corresponds with the damage type of the target. Once you have received 15 stacks of both protections, it evolves, giving you additional protections and mitigations based on your total protections. In my opinion, this is one of the best items in Smite. I think it's a really good item, and I think it combines good things about items like Gauntlet of Thebes and Hide of the Urchin. Overall, I think this is a better item, and it's definitely more core than Hide of the Urchin ever was. But I'm a Smite Elder. I live off nostalgia. I miss it. I miss it so much. So tell me in the comments which Smite items you miss if they were to make a comeback. What would you change about them? Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, or if you hated the video, feel free to leave hate comments in the comment section. Get that algorithm going. And also feel free to join my Discord, which is in my bio. I like to foster a community of positivity in the Smite community. We also tend to talk about other things like Genshin Impact, Overwatch 2, Pokemon Unite, a bunch of videos, and it's a really cool, chill place. And if you want to find like-minded gamers, feel free to join my Discord. Also, I stream over on Twitch, usually Monday, Wednesday, Fridays at 2 p.m. Eastern, usually streaming Smite with something special on Saturdays. Feel free to join join the Twitch, feel free to join the Discord, and I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I hope you're all excited for Smite 2 like I am. Love that fall.